Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So we're here with the Warren winch, the 8274. Recently got this from Great Hobbies. You know, I gotta tell you, it's a really cool winch and all, but man, they really don't put very much line on these things. And they only put enough line on there to hold 20 pounds. My truck weighs 10. Time you start pulling that thing up a rock, the weight kind of multiplies as you're pulling and dragging and, you know. So it's kind of useless cable. So I've been experimenting with spider wire 50-pound stuff. Took it out in the trails the other day, of course. There's a video on my channel for that. And it snapped a couple times on me. And I had 2 successful winchings where it didn't snap. But 50 pounds should have been more than enough, but apparently not, because as soon as that braided line gets hit on a rock or scraped, it snaps, I guess. And anyway, so I got this. This is trolling line actually, and it's actually pretty thick stuff. It's a real pain to put in. But to give you an idea how thick it actually is, I've got my micrometers here, and this is like 1.4 millimeters thick. So it's some pretty thick stuff. It will not go through the holes that are pre-drilled. And there's 2 sets of holes in this thing. I don't know why they just didn't put 1 set, but whatever. Okay, there are 2 sets. And so what I decided to do, because I've tried 20-pound hemp cord before I even tried it, I actually did a stretch test and I snapped that way too easy, so much for 20 pounds. I had some other cord here, tried that, a lot harder to break, but still snapped it. There's no way my truck's going to hold that back. And there's nowhere in town in North Bay where I used to live that I can find anything more than this 50-pound spider wire. And because I was thinking, you know, 100-pound would be good, because I mean, if you follow RC Sparks' channel like I do, he actually has 100-pound test line. Now I don't know what brand or type altogether, but it seems to work for him. But I thought about ordering some 300-pound stuff in from Japan, but I don't want to wait, you know, until Christmas to get it. So I decided, you know what, there's got to be a way I can do this. So I pulled the winch apart, took the spool off, and I started with a 1/16 drill bit. And I actually had to drill a 1/16 hole. That's how small these holes are. Like, even the stock cable, I don't know how RC4WD drive got it on there, because once you pull it out, you're never getting it back in. So I widened it up with this, tried that, you know, and because of the kind of line this is, you can actually use a lighter and kind of melt it, and then if you do it really quick and fast enough, you can pull it into a point and keep it round if you do it enough times. And it's kind of frustrating, but you'll get it, and you're going to have to do it, and then you're going to need like a jeweler's screwdriver to kind of push it through and do that, get it to the other side of the hole, and you'll be fine, and then you can loop it. If and only if you go to the next size drill bit up, which is a 5/64. Okay? This is where things get very, very delicate. Okay? If you screw up with this mod, do not whine to me. I don't want to hear it out of you. Okay? I did this. I've got a pretty steady hand, and I don't mind trying to do something in order to accomplish my end goal. Okay, and if I mess it up, it's me. So this 5/64 drill bit into the metric size, it comes out to 2 millimeters. Okay, is what we're sitting at. Pretty much 2 millimeters on the nose there. So 1.96, round it out, call it 2. So you need it, because it is going to over drill the hole right to a 2 millimeter hole. Okay, drill bits either drill undersized or over. In the case of Mastercraft drill bits, notorious for drilling oversized. So you get to the 2 millimeter, and you still got to burn the tip and, you know, force it in, and then use the screwdriver and get it through the hole. Once you get to the other end, grab it with some pliers and yank, and it'll go on just dandy. Now, don't try putting a slip knot, because it's going to be too bulky. Just tie a regular knot in the end of the line, and then a pair of pliers, and yank real hard to get that knot down small. And you should end up with a pretty small knot in the end, and you're good to go. Except it's still going to be a little bit in the way, but who cares? The idea here is you need line that's going to be able to pull your 10 or 15 pound truck and not snap. And this line is not going to snap so easily. It is very, very super strong, so I am not worried about this line whatsoever. It's pretty heavy duty. But anyways, so the amount of line I got in here, what did we measure that out to be?
7 feet 3 inches.
7 feet 3 inches is what I managed to spool onto this thing. That's more than enough line. Like, more than enough. Okay? And you're not going to get any much more than that on there because the spool gets pretty full. So, actually, how am I going to... I unspooled this just because I wanted to show you guys close-ups here of what you can expect to look for. But let me see here. So here you can see the knot in here. Okay, hopefully you can kind of see that in the picture. See if I can try and move this around for you. Hang on. There we go. So there's the knot there. Okay, and I drilled both sets of holes. This way I would never have to worry about it. So if I ever did have to change this line for some reason, I'm good with either set of holes and I can restring. And to do it, you're going to still have to take this thing off as well to rethread it, but you know, at least you can. And I got like 75 feet of this stuff for what is it, like $6 at Canadian Tire?
Yep.
That was cheap. So anyways, this is also going to work a lot better for the release catch too. So let me just grab my remote here. And I'm going to show you what the spool is going to look like when it's full. So now we almost ended up with a knot here. Okay. Let's get this back on track again here. It's hard to do this one-handed, guys. Alright, now if I just move that out a bit, and then back in. There we go. Now it's snugged up. So, that's a pretty full spool, I think. There's a lot of line on there. If you need more than almost 8 feet, there's a problem. So having at least 7 feet of line, you definitely have room in case you need to use a snatch block. But if you need to use a snatch block with this winch, again, there's a problem. This thing has a 50-pound deadlift capability, 70-pound horizontal haul. Okay, so when you're going to drag something on a straight plane of existence like this, 70 feet this way or 50 feet vertical. Okay, it's a really tough winch, and it runs 2S or 3S, which is great. I'm running it actually plugged right into my ESC because I always run a 3S battery in my truck anyhow. But great winch, you know. I actually learned a little bit about how this thing is assembled when I took it apart, because I did this kind of blind and thought, alright, well, if it falls in pieces, well, at least I know. You don't have to worry about it. Just pull these two screws, pull this cap, but first remove this, okay, so make sure your thing's off. But there's a spring down below in the inner shaft. That actually is part of the manual release here. And you know, this manual release thing is kind of a tricky bugger sometimes too, but at least it has been. It doesn't seem to, actually it's not acting up this time. Wow. I guess if you got the right gauge of cord on there, because usually when I pop it in, it would kind of like, you know, unless I held it in. So I guess shooting some lubricant in there in the shaft actually really helped. So that's good. Now, here's the other thing I want to mention to you. When you drill this thing, this is why I don't want to hear you guys whine and complain if you screw it up. When you go to that 5/64th drill bit, just give me a quick second here. Okay, so when you go to the 5/64th drill bit, that is going to max you out. You're not going to get the holes any bigger without damaging the spool. Right underneath this pin, when you first pull this base, okay, you're going to see a bearing there. And of course, the bearing can come out and you can change the bearings in this thing. Sweet, eh? I thought so. Anyways, underneath that bearing, of course, is a very delicate area. Now, I just barely moved the metal. It's, you know, a slice here and a slice down below, just barely with the 5/64th, but I didn't have anything else in between that, and it wouldn't have mattered much even if I did break right through, as far as keeping it that area small, because you got to watch, you got this center pin in here. So I'm far enough away on the outsides of that center pin. Nothing has been compromised structurally. Nothing. Okay? And it actually wouldn't have compromised any structural integrity anyways. I've really looked at the design and that of the spool. However, you probably would compromise structural integrity if you went to a 3/32 bit. Okay? So do not push beyond a 5/64th, and make darn sure you are drilling straight, and don't drill super fast either. I've got this little rigid 12-volt drill, okay, and this thing's on the second speed for drilling. And what I do is I drill about here, so not quite full, and I just barely put any pressure behind it. I'm not forcing it, because if you force, your drill bits bend easy and that's going to go wonky on you. So you got to kind of let it just cut itself in nice and smooth, and you should just barely ripple the outside on either side. Okay, and you'll still have lots of meat for the pin. Do not worry, as long as you don't go past that 5/64th bit. I cannot say that enough times. Do not go past 5/64ths, or you're asking for a bad spool now. You will not be putting this spool back in, because it will be damaged. Anyhow, that's how I did it. That works, and I've got just under 8 feet of line. And of course, I'm using the premium hook from RC4WD drive. I wanted the premium because it also looks cooler, especially against the black shell for the motor. But it works, and now I've got super strong line, and I can winch the daylights out of this truck and not have to even think about it, which is kind of good. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I would have done a how-to on this, but I didn't even know exactly what I was in for at all myself. If I ever have to mod another one of these, maybe I'll do a how-to video then. But this one, at least you know it's done. I've explained exactly how to do it, step by step kind of deal. And you know, also when you pull the spool off, this pin's going to fall out. Okay, now this pin goes against that spring inside that shaft I was telling you about. Okay, that's down below in the middle of the spool. Okay, now this it has like a star shaped cutout on the pin, so the pin of course obviously has to come out this way. Well, that star shape has to go into its star slot, okay, because that's part of the locking mechanism and unlocking mechanism along with that spring. So like if you push in on the button right now, you can free spool this out. Oh, that comes out so nice. It's never been that nice. Wow, what a difference. Just gotta take crap apart and anyhow. So, and of course you can push and it'll pop right back out. I think, you know, every once in a while we should pull our winches apart actually, and just give them a, you know, clean up and re-lube stuff, and away you go. And actually what I used on this to lube it was this Deoxit D5. This is actually a contact cleaner and lubricant in one, and it's for electronics, but it's also apparently good for other stuff too. Because I put some on that pin as well, on that star-shaped cutout, and that's got to sit flush, because it will sit flush when the pin is out. So when you push the pin in, it pushes out and pushes against the mechanism back and behind and allows you to free spool. But yeah, so there you go. That's what we got. But yeah, take your winches apart once in a blue moon and clean them up, and you'll actually save some bad maintenance down the road. Great little winch though, I'm really happy with it. So we will talk more about that on another video, but in the meantime, this is my modification, and this cord, I mean, you're not... I can't break that without hurting my hands, which I just did. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll pull the TRX. Yeah. Anyways, see ya. Ciao.